Hey, you all right?
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very, very good. So, I'm going to get into it straight away.
Oh, okay. Let's go. Let's
Firstly,
go. Let's go.
firstly, I'd like to apologize to everyone for my crazy beard. Just letting you know I'm fully adhering to the lockdown rules. That's why I look like this, but you look great, Jem, so it's all good.
Thanks, Drew.
So, my first thing is like,
Right.
I, I- obviously, your name's Jemma Cargill. I know that, but tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Yeah, like that's still like a hard one, to sum it up. Like, when you're like a multi-passionate kind of person, it's like, how do I sum up everything? But yeah, so essentially I'm like a business coach for women, for like female solopreneurs, helping them like grow their business, and level up in like business and life, essentially, in a nutshell. So yeah, you've kind of like been on this journey with me, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've definitely helped. And I think that the point of me kind of doing these videos is because what I found through my business is that when I started, obviously my aim was obviously to create my own business, to be free, etc., etc. But a lot of the time I found that even though I was building people's websites, doing people's logos, etc., etc., I almost was like a coach to a lot of people. Because when people are starting up business, they're relying on the advice of somebody else. And what I didn't realize is that being a web designer, graphic designer, somebody who done it maybe for 4 or 5 years and had helped many businesses, those people that I'm now working with were relying on me to get them through. So obviously I've never branded myself as that.
Yeah.
But I've realized from doing it so much, I now have so much advice to give to people, and where a lot of people have given to me, I also want to give back. So I kind of thought this is definitely the perfect thing for me to do right now. I gathered a lot of questions from a lot of people, and I've got some that I'm going to fire at you now.
Okay.
Nothing intrusive, just kind of like, it's kind of just what I've also found is that, as you probably realize, people when they start up, they're kind of like, they think they have to know everything. But
100%.
I'm 5, 6, 7 years down the line and I'm still learning. I feel like I know 20%. So me asking
100%.
these questions is just because there is literally, there's no right or wrong. And it's just giving people a path or different ideas to take.
It's like a different perspective, isn't it? Like everyone's got their own way of doing business, and that's like something when I speak with my clients, it's like I can advise you, I can guide you, I can support you, but at the end of the day, it's your way. Like I'm still figuring out my way. Like of course I've done like many courses, workshops, and whatever else, taking advice from you, but it's like you have to take that advice and then make it work for you, right?
Yeah. And that's also another part of it, is also like rebranding, changing, adapting with the circumstances. So the first question that I wanted to put to you was, what challenges are you facing during COVID?
To be honest, I think like what business-wise, I haven't found any challenges, to be honest with you. If anything, it's like highlighted that actually like having an online business has been key during these times, because everything at the moment is online, isn't it? So everyone at the moment has got a lot of time to invest in themselves. They're obviously like cutting out on like going out, spending money on drink, alcohol, clothes, whatever else. They've got the money to invest in themselves. So for me, actually, has been the right time for, if anyone wants to launch a business during this time, like I say, go for it, especially if it's an online business, because people have the time, they have the money, and they want to level up during this period of time.
So that was another question, that part of it was like, what a lot of people are saying is, how do you find finance at this time? So I know for myself, I was fortunate to have money saved, but about me, I was fortunate to have money saved, because prior to this I wasn't really going out and spending money and stuff like this. A lot of people are struggling. Also, I was quite fortunate to get the bounce back loans and stuff like that from the government. But what's your personal way of getting finance during this time?
I haven't had any. So as you know, obviously I started my business during the pandemic at the time we went into lockdown last year.
Yeah.
And then I was working, and then I left my job without actually any financial backing. I just left my job, my full-time job, to do this business. So for me, all my income is coming from my business.
Yeah.
So it's really hard, because I know people are financially struggling. I know that's happening. I know there's businesses that are struggling, but for me, all my income has come from business.
Yeah.
So I can't really relate to businesses that are struggling during these times, because it's a different type of, the industry I'm in is online coaching. Do you know what I mean? It's not I'm out there, I've got a shop, it's closed during these times. It's completely different. Everyone is online. Everyone at the moment is online, whether that be for work, for meeting up with friends, everything is online. So if anything, it's been easier. It is, I have that thing of God, when we go back to normal, how is my business going to survive that?
So
it's the flip for me. I'm shit, oh my God.
I think this, do you know what it is for this? I think for this moment, what for a lot of people was like a reality check, because a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck and never prepare for any events like this, whereas I was brought up quite differently, and I always prepared for the worst. Of course, I never expected a pandemic, but I always saved money. I always put something away just for a rainy day and stuff like that. So when this came, I was kind of okay, I understand the first 3 months or however long took a while to adjust, but after a while I just adjusted to it. And similar to
I suppose as well, because you've been in your business longer than me. I've launched it in a pandemic, so I launched it already built for COVID. Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't in a business before where I was seeing clients face to face. I launched it during these times. So my business model was set up for COVID. Whereas if you were in business prior to COVID, the adjustment must have been huge for people. If you were seeing people face to face, not a lot of it was online. That adjustment must have been huge. But because I launched during that time, I launched with COVID in mind, that everything is online. Do you know what I mean? So it was completely different business model.
And I've seen a lot of the time as well. There's a lot of businesses which had to either adjust or literally crash. So for example, restaurants, if you didn't have a takeaway service, we're struggling. Also, what's happened to Primark, for example, they're just out of business. Not out of business, but
what happened to Primark?
So they're just essentially not able to run, because their business model.
They don't have a website. They don't have an online platform, do they? They don't have.
But they can't. They actually said that they can't, because basically the price of their items and everything is built on it being cheap and it being able to do things in bulk and stuff like that. So for example, if they're not able to go online, because it would drive the price of everything up, etc., and then it just wouldn't run. So stuff like that has been really eye-opening as well, because for example, now one of us could get to a part in our business where we're big, massive, earning lots and lots of money, etc. We need to make sure that we have different platforms, different avenues as well. So that
100%
is 100%. So important, so important. And
also on that is if you look at is it correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure ASOS have just bought Topshop. Look how big.
I think it's Debenhams and stuff as well. Debenhams,
it's crazy. It's. And we're just small businesses, like.
Yeah. But you know what? Those type of companies, I saw that coming prior to this because they never.
100%.
Yeah, they never adjusted, and I think that is one of those things where you just have to look at it, and when we're 15, 20 years down the line, we have to remember what these companies have just gone through. It's like we have to adjust, whether we're older now and we're tired and this and this, that. You don't want to go out of business, so you have to keep adjusting. And I think, fortunately, obviously, my dad is an entrepreneur as well, and I've seen him have to go through different stages, and at one time he's doing excellent, he's got 10 members of staff, and then he's back to down to like 1 or 2. So I've been able to see that and kind of know that as well. So that's really important for me.
Let me ask you a question. Like, when this is over, do you think you're, because obviously like you were doing like face-to-face, like client meetings and things like that, do you think you'll go back to that?
Do you know what's weird? What's weird is I always try to keep it, maybe not intentionally, or maybe intentionally, I'm not sure, but I try to keep it online as much as possible, only for the purpose of, I like having a track record of everything that's been said, everything that's been done. When I have meetings, it's literally only to reassure people. Sometimes people like to sit, there are clients that I have that like to sit with you and just feel your energy, and then once they have that, then they're trusting. And then in a lot of the stuff, I send them documents, they fill out the documents, and we're back and forth. When I've finished this, I think it's just going to be the same, but what I'm definitely going to do is implement a lot of Zoom calls and stuff like that, because I think it also saves people a lot of time. Like I had a 2.5 hour conversation yesterday. The clients I was working with were in their house. One was in the house and one was like traveling around, and he was just continuing his day as normal, but he was able to have the call. Now, that means he didn't lose out any time in his day. So for both of us, it works. I was having this call and I was able to just do small things, etc., and send a couple emails as this was going on. But it means people don't lose out on time. So I definitely think for me, if I can keep it that way as much as possible, I will. But if there are clients that need that reassurance, then I'm more than happy to. What about, so these kind of questions, they're going to lead into each other. So there's a large part that you haven't included, which is so important for everything that's going on now. But I was going to say, how many hours per day do you work? And also, I'm going to let everybody know, obviously Jem is a mother, child, how many years old?
5.
So that in itself must be a task, because you have, for example, homeschooling, these type of things. You've got, when you're working, she's going to be running around, she's demanding your attention. 100%. How does that work? How do you manage that?
Yeah, like, so I'm a single mum. So like before, when I started my business, I was like literally working all hours, like crazy dumb hours. But then like it impacted like my mood, which then impacted me as a mum. So like this year, I've kind of taken a different approach, and I'm like, right, we're working 4 hours a day, like Monday to Friday, and then like afternoons and evenings is for her, like, and that is it. You have to be like strict, and I think like when you're more strict with your time, you actually get a lot more done.
Yes.
Like you get a lot more done. Like it's actually, I've been doing this thing where it's like you block time, so you do like 45 minutes. You just focus on one task, and then you break. Then you go back to it for another 45 minutes. Like game changing, but it's amazing. Like you don't even realize how much you can achieve in that short space of time.
Do you know what I did? It's so funny, because I have obviously, as you know, I have other entrepreneurial friends, and what I used to do is kind of assess them against myself. And what sometimes I was working from like, let's say 9 a.m. till 2 a.m. the next morning. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying every minute I was working, but those were the hours I was around my desk and stuff like that. Now, when I really analysed it, I was like, maybe only 4 or 5 of those hours you're fully productive. The rest of the time, I'm doing this, I'm eating, I'm quickly checking something on Google, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then you realise you're wasting so much time. And then this is where you realise, for example, your health can deteriorate. A lot of people that go into this type of work don't realise how bad your health can deteriorate.
100%. Burnout is seriously real. Like,
it's so
burnout
real.
is real.
Yeah, but you don't realise as it's happening. The thing that was crazy for me is I never realised, because I was just like, I can do it. My body's strong. This, and that. And then, for the first time in your life, for me, definitely someone who's come from an active background, sports background, I started not being able to do what I could do, and I felt like a disappointment. I felt bad that I couldn't work till 3 a.m. anymore. And then I had to go through a period of self-realization and then realize, wait, some of this is just for me reading these great entrepreneurial books, and 100%. Where they just say, I've worked from 4 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Was it you sleep when you're dead or whatever it is?
Yeah. And then I realized, I was like, no, do you know what?
That's the thing, like, do you know?
Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say, do you know, like, I feel like we've been conditioned from like a very early age to think that, like, to believe in this hustle culture, that money comes through hard work. Like, for you to be successful, you need to put in the work. And like, that's bullshit. Like, I don't, that's not how I raised my daughter. That's bullshit. I can earn like a decent living just by doing 4 hours a day. Like, and we shouldn't, and I find with like a lot of women, I can only speak from like my client experiences, is that a lot of women feel guilty when they're not working till all hours of the night. And I'm like, why are we feeling guilty? And like, when I first started to take this approach of like, you know what, I'm working 4 hours a day and that's it. Like, I'm not doing anything after that. I was like twiddling my thumbs. I was like, what am I doing? But then, like, we're not built to work 24 hours a day. We're built to have, my motto is that we do a little bit of work here and there. The rest we should be enjoying life, right? It's for experiencing and we have to break that like hustle culture. Like we have to, because it's burnout. Like no one wants to work.
100%.
Okay? And it's hard because like when you enjoy what you do, you feel passionate about it. And like I get it, because you know as well, it's like you want to work all hours because you're stuck in it, you're in the flow. But how much of that time are you really giving it your all? If you're tired, like if you're, do you know what I mean? If you're constantly looking at one thing for like 5 hours. So it's like, we have to break that hustle culture, man. It's not even, you can be successful, you can earn a lot of money without the hustle.
100%. And that, you said it so well, is that we've been conditioned that way for so long that it's, for some people it's hard to break. For me, I wouldn't say it was hard to break. It was just, I had to realize that for myself. Like, I had to really look at myself and say what was best for me. And then what I do now, everything that I do is best for me. So sometimes my friend calls me and he'll be like, oh, you're not working. And he's doing it for laughs and jokes and stuff. And like, in me, I would, like, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I would have reacted, I would have got on my computer and I would have just worked. But now I'm like, nah, I'm sleeping.
No, I'm not working.
I'm sleeping. I'm watching Netflix.
The thing is, when you ask people why they go into business, they're like, oh, I want freedom, I want like time and financial freedom. And then they get into a business and they're working more hours like than what they would do in like a 9-to-5 job, right? Like, they're doing more hours and then they get burnt out and then they're like, shit, you know what, this like entrepreneur life is not for me. And it's like, well, it's not that it's not for you, it's just that you're doing more hours than what you usually would, because you feel like to make it a success, you have to put in the hours. Like, but then you also got to look after like your mental well-being, because if you're not, you can't pour from a glass like half empty, right? So you have to look after yourself. To make that business successful. If you're not doing that, of course business is not going to work. Like, it's not going to work.
So true. So
and that's actually,
true.
do you know what, that's a lot of, do you know what, people don't actually talk about that transition of like going from 9 to 5 to an entrepreneur, because that's a massive transition to be like, do you know what, I'm doing this business for me also, and actually I'm going to take the time out. Like, I don't work all bloody day. Like, when I say, like, when you ask me how many hours do I do a day, I laugh because I was like, I should really be like, I work from like 9 till 5, but that's not the reality, like, and it was. But now I'm proud to say, do you know what, I've adapted my business model to work for me also, to be like, do you know what, I can do like intentional work in 4 hours, and then I can live life, I can enjoy it. When COVID is over, like 4 hours is done, I'm out, I'm going out for drinks, food, whatever, and that is business, right? That's and why we build business.
And that's why I've learned to be smarter, because I almost used to have a guilt to my clients, for example, for not doing silly hours and stuff like that. But I've learned to be like what I never like to say something that might feel disappointing to me. But now I'll be honest to them. I'll be like, look, I'm not going to be available for this time to this time, but I'll be here at this time. And then when they were replying with like no fight back, no complaints, no nothing, I was like, wait a second, so I've been doing this all this time. Like
that comes down to like social media, like and phones and computers, because this online space, because we're so now used to having immediate access to people. So like if I WhatsApp someone, not necessarily me, might have been a previous version of me, but now if I WhatsApp someone, I'm not expecting an immediate reply. But people do, right? People, well, I've WhatsApped you, get it straight away. I want you to message me back straight away. You have to think, back in the day, it was pen to paper, right? It was mail in the post. Like,
that is everybody. Like, that is everyone.
It is. Especially, people want immediate responses, immediate gratification, immediate answers, immediate money, and it's like, actually, you're busy, I'm busy, and I'll get back to you when I've got that, I'm in that headspace to answer your question.
I do think it's improving. I do think people are getting it and understanding it, and it's and as I said, that is there have been hundreds of people like that with me, not just one or two. I've honestly, it's funny to say, I remember there was I had a girl. She was messaging me like once before, etc. Wasn't getting a reply. I think I was in a meeting or something like that. She turned up at my office. I swear to you, she turned up at my office, and then I think that was the day when I realized. I said, look, like, it's got to be boundaries. Like, even if I'm your friend, even if I've known you before, even if I'm working on your project, the money you've given me doesn't make me a slave to you. I'm doing something for you. I'm trying to help you get to that. You're paying for my skills and service. You're not paying for me to be a slave in your room next to you for 24 hours. So you know what I mean? So, but I think it's getting better, and hopefully it gets better. And as I said, the good thing is nowadays people are paying a lot of attention to mental health.
100%,
And I definitely wanted to add mental health into this conversation, because I will be honest, from I can't tell you how long, from I was born till I was 30, I would say, maybe 30, no, even later than that, maybe 32. I never understood mental health. I didn't understand. When people would say stuff, I'd be like, what? In my head, I'd be like, mental health, isn't that just for like quote unquote psychos, like people that are like
that crazy
and stuff like that? That's what I thought mental health was, because I had a very good upbringing. I was very mentally strong, and nothing really. I would say I had a football injury, which obviously had an effect on the outcome of my life. But even that, I knew how to get through it. I knew how to navigate through it. But until I got to like 32, that's for the first times I started feeling feelings that I'd never felt before. And the craziest thing is, when I started speaking to people, I realized, wow, like this person are all going through these mental health issues. But people aren't talking about it. And now I truly understand mental health, and I think it's so important that for the next generation, they have systems put in place so people can speak from early. So nobody's scared or afraid to say things, because I did not realize the amount of everyone's going through something different, but they're all going through mental health issues. But now I think for me, it once again, that's something that I actually end up doing when I'm working with people, because they come to me with their business and idea, and what they do is they outpour all their emotions and tell me how they got there. Now, to be honest, for me to get to the end product, end design, that's so important. It's so important, because I need to know what it is you want your clients, customers to feel when they come. So definitely it is so weird, but mental health and all these other parts of like people's struggles, they all fall into what me and you are doing. So it's definitely important, and that's why I wanted to lead on to my question of, there's two parts to this. So one of it is like, do you have a team and do you work alone? And also off the basis of that is like, how important is customer service to you? And I'm saying this obviously off the basis of these questions, because one, if you're working alone, I know that can lead to burnout, as we were saying, and it can lead to mental health problems, because if you're not like giving some of the jobs out, you're going to be overworked and overstressed. And also it's like customer service. Everybody has their own idea of customer service. Some people think customer service is replying straight away.
Yeah.
But how do you navigate through all of that?
I think like with, like, so to answer the first question with the team, so I've been quite clever. I don't think people utilize this as much as they should, but I've built partnerships where we do skill swapping, right? I've partnered up with someone who's helping me with like my social media, and in return I help coach her, right? So like help her grow her business, and that has like worked out, right? Because obviously we're all trying to grow our business at the lowest cost possible. And she struggles with like, all right, how do I have like an exit strategy to leave my job and do my business full time? And I struggle with content. I struggle with the social media side of things, like having a content strategy. So we've swapped skills. So, and then off the back of that, she's then partnered me up with someone else who's like who's starting their own business and wants testimonials. So they're going to work on my branding, do me a logo. So you have to be like quite clever with it. And it's like, these are like, build partnerships, like expand your network. You don't have to hire like people. You can build those partnerships, and like network is so important. Like
one of
honestly,
the most important
so important, because now I'm getting like a logo branding, like social media strategy, for nothing but in exchange for my time and my skills.
And also this also leads back to what we were saying before, is that you can get from where entrepreneurs before would have taken 10 years to do something, you can essentially do it in 1 year if you network and use this and use all the platforms available. Right now you've got Instagram, Facebook, Google, Clubhouse, Twitter, Pinterest, you can literally, and you've got direct access to everybody. So it's like you can gain knowledge so quickly. And as I said, for entrepreneurs, this is the best possible time.
Why do you think, like, a question for you, because like my clients, when I say to them, like, look, like, go out there, create these like partnerships, go out, collab, like this is the best way to like get your business out there, to grow, to like push through this confidence issue you've got. You've got to get yourself out there, right? Like, what do you think is the biggest issue? Why do you think people are not utilizing this, like a network that is available to them?
It's fear. Do you know what?
Of what though?
I'll explain it to you, and from my perspective. When I always look back to school, when you're in school, you have different groups, and what I found is that the people that fought through certain issues in their childhood go into school and they kind of become super confident because they maybe had younger brothers, sisters, whatever, older brothers and sisters, etc., to teach them things, or they might have, I don't know, maybe they were bullied and then they get to a point and they're like, okay, I'm just going to be on the front foot now. So they get to school and everybody starts developing their personalities. Some people are this, some people are that. Now, for me, it's the same type of thing. When we get to a certain age, I look at people's characters and I can almost tell who is going to do well and who isn't. And if you look at a lot of the influencers, for example, they are people that just don't give an F. Like, they don't care. Yeah. They're not bothered by people's opinions. They just go out there and do stuff. And what you then get, you get these really intelligent, smart people who are like, I'm too good for this and too good for that, and then don't do it. Do you see what I mean? Some people some people value certain things and go, I'm smart, I've been to college, I've done this, I've done that, blah, blah, blah. I've got all these like papers to classify what I've done.
100%.
But
they don't have that social skills. Like
exactly.
They haven't.
Yeah.
Those life skills.
Exactly. Those life skills.
Yeah.
And the life 100%. Skills are more important. Not more important. Of course, that is important for what you're doing. But in what we're talking about, for example, the life skills are more important. Every time I look at these people the people that I like, for example, Gary V, someone like that, Steve Jobs, all of that. They were in networks at a certain age where they were working together, blah, 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 in groups of 10, 20, etc., gaining skills, gaining knowledge, and then just put themselves out there. But in those groups, the people weren't judgmental. They just did what they had to do. There's a lot of other people, and I see it now, I work with them, and it's like, they've been so...
they've just had their head in the books.
Yeah, they've had their head in the books.
And then they come out of it and they're like, right, I need to apply this knowledge.
Exactly.
And then they're kind of like, right, where do I go? Oh my God. The books don't teach them how to go and assert your needs, to have, you know, like they don't the confidence in 100%. And I say that to Nyla, my daughter. I say that to her, like, I don't pressure her to do the schoolwork. Like, I don't pressure her because I know, like, I would like to think I'm an intelligent woman, right? I'd like to think I'm an intelligent woman. But I think where my skills lie is that I have my life skills, my social skills are like definitely my strength, right? And I'm successful. I've started my business. And I will never forget, and I learned that when I got this job. I remember I was quite young, and at the time, like, so 30 grand a year was quite a lot of money. Like a salary. And I went into this job and everyone was just kind of like, how did you get the job? Like, you're not even qualified. In the team, everybody had spent years in university to get to where I had got based off of just my interview. I didn't even have any experience, but they loved my energy, how I conducted myself, my confidence. And that's the only reason I got that job. And they were all a lot older than me at the time. And it just showed me that they've worked their ass off to get here. Not saying, and this is not me saying don't go to uni, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is they had put all their time and energy into the books, into university, and I'd got there just based off of life skills. If that makes sense, right? And honestly, that's not me belittling education because it's important. But what I'm saying is, if people are there and they're like, right, I need the next qualification, oh my God, I need the experience to start a business, run a business, grow a business, I'd say that's bullshit. I'm just kind of like, you just need to know how to navigate life. No,
honestly, you're so right. And there's no one that's experienced that more than me, because when I do things, I'm very, very refined about how I do it. Only because I like to know where my business is going.
You're a planner.
I'm a planner. I plan things, I write things down, etc., etc., etc. Now, sometimes when I look at businesses that have I don't really compare because I'm not watching anybody else because I'm only focused on myself. But sometimes I look at other businesses and I'm like, wow, like this person's here and he isn't even 1/10 of the designer I am. But do you know what? His perception, the way that he markets things and everything is excellent, and he's out there and he's got this amount of views and he's got this and he's got that. And
I call that opportunity snatching.
Yeah,
those
exactly.
People who are snatching, they're not even there trying to refine the craft. They are like, they're building that network. They're like, they're snatching up every single opportunity and leveraging it. And that's business. That's entrepreneurship. Like,
it is.
If you think about it, like I would say like, now I've stepped into this world of like entrepreneurship. I've met a lot of other entrepreneurs, obviously, and their craft isn't, I wouldn't say they're not necessarily the best, right? They're not necessarily the best, but they're freaking sick at selling. They're sick at creating like partnerships, collaboration, leveraging other people's audiences. Like that's what makes them successful. Not necessarily the work they do.
You can't even, and the thing is, I'll be honest, I can't even hate on that. And that's why I don't necessarily, I like the influencer culture doesn't bother me. The only thing that bothers me with influencer culture is the name influencer. Only because
I don't like that you're
because not all of them are influencing.
They work hard. They work
and that's
hard.
why
I know
I
that
rate them.
because when you've got an Instagram platform or any social media platform, you need to get up. You've got to shoot content. You've got to do. They have contracts. People forget they have actual contracts. So if they're feeling shit, but they've got a contract deadline, they still got to get up and put makeup on, give energy, take photos. Like it is a lot of hard friggin' work. So when I came into this, because I wasn't on social media before, innit? So when I came onto social media, I was like, damn, like, I take my hat off to these influencers now. Like, it's not all just look pretty on Insta. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
There is. And that is something that I really do respect and rate a lot of them for, because I know for certain there's certain things that I just can't do. So for example, you can't get me on TikTok doing a dance for a fan base. I can't do it.
But
like
some
the
people reels as well, like the whole printing, like,
exactly.
It's just not my energy.
I can't do
when
it.
I see people do it, I'm like, put yourself out there.
When I watch it, I'm like, do you know what? I respect you because you don't care enough to do something for your end goal. And the fact is, the thing with the end goal is that when you get to the end goal, of course, the internet obviously never forgets, but by the time you get 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in, what you did 4 years ago is no longer relevant anymore. So whatever you did to get there is actually not even relevant. So you might have done something stupid, and I think I saw ZZ Mills yesterday or the day before. She was showing one of her like first interviews, and I was like, wow. And she
I've seen it. I seen it. And she looked real young, and she was just kind of like, look at the. And I was like,
the transition. I was like,
look at the transition, but I was like, you freaking started. You started. I don't care how you got to where you are. Like, I don't know if this is digressing off like your question, but even like this might be controversial, but like Kim K, she's famous because of a sex tape. And you know what? I don't hate her for it. I don't hate her for it.
I've never disliked her.
Because she leveraged it. She's seen an opportunity and she leveraged the hell out of it. And now, like, their family must be like one of the most famous families in the world, like one of. I don't give a shit. Like, you leverage. You've seen the opportunity. Like,
I'll tell you why I don't dislike Kim K at all. Because what she went through is what a lot of people go through. The humiliation, all of this, etc. Now, from there, she made something good out of that bad situation. And the person she portrays now is nowhere even linked to that person. And
100%.
he's done at least 200, 300 business deals since then, which shape who she is. So what I laugh at is obviously when people are trying to use that now to bring her down or whatever, blah, 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 I'm like, I know that's an inside jealousy. There's other things I dislike.
Of course there is. I think, of course, and I think a lot of people, I don't want to say women, but a lot of people in that situation would have played up to this victim. Oh no, poor me, look at me, oh my God, my sex tape is out there. Whereas she was like, nah. There's money. Her and her mum was like, there's money to be made off this.
That's it. If you're gonna
this is an opportunity, and it's like, I can't hate someone for that. And you have to think, like you said, where she's at now and the work that she's doing with like the prison reform and everything else, you have to think she's a big woman now. Where she was at, that was young. We all have sex. It just happened that it was recorded and it got leaked. When she leaked it purposely, I don't care. It made her money. It made her famous, and now her whole family are put on this level of like billionaireship. Like look at Kylie. Like do you know what I mean? We can't hate that. And we'll look back on this talk one day and be like, shit, look at that. We would have leveled up so much that we'd be like, now look at us, we've got lights, camera, studio, or whatever it is.
Because I don't intend to come on another video with my beard like this. Like, it was never my plan. You know what I mean? But,
do you know what I mean? I want to lose a few pounds, but what I'm saying is like, well, everybody looks back on their work and thinks, shit, like, or might feel a bit humiliated by something. But equally, like, it's like, you start, innit? There's us, and I feel like there's them. There's the people that will start, that will never do this work, and I don't want to be judged by people like that. I don't want to hear what you've got to say.
And I actually...
Because you're never going to get on and do something like this.
Yeah, that's what it is for me. Honestly, the opinion of people doesn't matter to me. It never has. For me, everything I'm doing is a personal journey. The day I decided to leave the job and do this is because I felt unfulfilled. Like, I literally felt like I was going to work, and like every day I was like, but what did I do all this? What did I do all these things for? Why did I study this? I was like, my existence has to be more than
You're just on this hamster wheel, and you're like working for someone else, not really able to earn more than the potential to, like, you're just capped at one salary, going in, seeing the same faces, doing the same thing, and then going home feeling tired because you've been working all day.
And I always had to, you know, when you have to, what used to like drive me crazy is like, I used to have to ask my boss for the stupidest things. And let me get this, I had like a very good boss, and the way he was as a boss taught me that's how I want to be as a boss. So in my future endeavors, he will be the one. But then what happened, I got a promotion, and then I had a different boss. And this man, like, it taught me I can never be like this in life. Like, my job was in Victoria. So the Victoria line is like one of the worst. When I mean it's packed, I mean packed. Your door, your face is up against the door when you're on the train. So if you don't get on at certain points, you have to wait for the next one. Now, they would ask me some days to come in at, me and my colleagues like to come in at 7 or 8, for example, and then let's say we're doing 8 hours, so we could finish, I don't know, like 3, 4, for example. Now, that's your core work. Now, because when I got this promotion, we were a new team, they were asking us to do lots of overtime. And when I mean I mean, all right, let's say that day I started at 7 and I supposed to finish at 3, for example. I would probably work till 10 p.m. and then have to get home. So I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of overtime. If I got in, no exaggeration, into the office 2 minutes late, or even 20 seconds past the time, they started logging that and creating issues. So I was like, after a while, I was like, I'm not an idiot. And I started a war with this guy that went on for I think it was a year or maybe 2 years. I can't even remember how long it was. And then in my head, I was like, all right, that's it. I know I'm leaving this place soon. Like, I'm done now. And then I registered my company. This guy, my boss, found this out somehow by hacking my drives. And I was getting a payoff at work here. I was getting a payoff at work, which was a large sum.
Yeah.
Put it this way, I was getting 2 to 3K for every year I'd worked there. And I think I'd worked there like 8 to 10 years. Yeah?
Yeah.
Something like that. So he attempted to stop me getting that. And nearly succeeded. Now, if he had succeeded, I wouldn't be here now. I'll be in jail. I'll tell you that from now. I'll be in jail. I'll tell you that straight. But you know what? I was so fortunate. For a short period in my career, I worked at this other place for like 6 months, and there was one of the bosses there that used to see me every day, and I was like polite to him like every day. Literally, I was polite to him. I just said hi. Never even really knew him. I just said hi, and I was blah blah blah. He ended up being the boss above that boss, and then when he found out this was happening, he was like, "What, Andrew?" Blah blah blah, and he stopped it and he let me leave and take my money.
Yeah, and take the money.
And that whole scenario there taught me that the people like that guy are the past now. They're gone. Like, they will no longer be in this world, or they're the type of people we're talking about that have that stuck in the books, dead mentality. The world's changing now. Everybody is entrepreneurs. Everybody's doing stuff for themselves. Everybody's networking. Like, I could never in my mind think I'm going to take 20 plus K off somebody for some nonsense. I couldn't even imagine. It's
just like a whole different level of petty, innit?
Exactly. But it shows me that those are the kind of people we're talking about, where when they're stuck in something and they've been conditioned a certain way, they follow that path. I was determined to break from it because I realized it was wrong growing up. Do you know what I mean? I realized it was wrong growing up. And that's why I had to leave my job, because I was like, when I spoke to some of the elders who were in my job, I remember the guy seeing my work, knowing I play football and everything, and he was like, one guy said to me, "Andrew, why are you here? You've got all these skills. Like, I'm here, I'm 60 plus, and I regret it." That's what one guy said. And then there was another guy, he had like 3 children, his wife, he had his house, it was paid off. He was at this place like earning stupid amounts of overtime, because we earned a lot of money in overtime. And he was like, he said to me, "I wish I'd followed my heart." So this is a man who's got everything that I imagined in life we would want: house, 3 kids, wife, everybody's this is that, and he's still saying that. And I don't for one second think he was saying he regrets his kids or regrets his wife. I think what he was just saying is that he's essentially just lived for the past 30 years, 40 years in some mundane, the same thing.
In autopilot, innit?
It's crazy. And
being enslaved to society, I suppose. And
at that time I was like 20 something, So I think I saw my my pension date, and I think it said 77. So I was like, wait, so I got from here to here, and then I can't even enjoy my life. I don't even know if I would live that long. I was like, that's it, I'm gone. And I'm so glad to see nowadays so many people going the entrepreneurial route, because you have daily freedom. And that's why I do a lot of things via AE Media that people see or don't see on Instagram. I'm always highlighting other businesses. Like every chance I get a break, I'm highlighting people, because you never know when you're gonna see it. What you could do something.
You can change someone's. I've noticed, especially like online, you can change someone's life, or you can change your own life by one post, by one comment, by one share. Like it can happen so quickly. And I think that's key, is like people who are outside of entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
like if like my friends, for example, like if they're asking me how business, they're like, how much money are you making?
Yeah,
and I'm like, it's that you're asking me the wrong question. Like that's not an entrepreneurial mindset. Have I ever asked you how much money you earn?
No,
never. I want to know how you're doing this, that. Like I don't care about the financial side of things. Like and there's going to be times in business, no doubt, where I'm probably not earning a lot. Maybe. But that doesn't make me any less of an entrepreneur. It just that it's a journey, right? It is.
I've gone months.
It's more than money. It's a skill set. It is crazy. Like it's. Like people don't work. They just think it's the money. Well, like. Nah, it's successful. So. You've got to be.
It's so silly.
It's crazy.
Because I've definitely gone a month in this time where. The thing for me, time flies. So I've gone a month where I've been working on finishing projects. Look at my like earnings, and I've earned literally next to nothing that month because I was finishing projects. But that also is part of the journey. It teaches you stuff. What it then taught me, because obviously when you get to your next month and you need to pay bills, it then taught me that I have to leverage things. Okay, I'm finishing projects and I want to finish projects, but I also have to bring in other projects. So you have to allocate time to everything, and that's what I do now. I allocate time to everything. Obviously, a lot of us, we're running our own social media, so you also have to make social media content because as well as having clients, you have to. Not everybody is going to come to you and buy your service straight away. No. It might take some people 2 years. So you have to, I don't know if entertained is the right word, but you have to keep showing them different things.
Nurture. Like you have to like nurture them in, nurture them on this buying journey. You have to meet them where they're at in the journey, right? Like and nurture them and be consistent.
At one point, the thing is, somebody who doesn't, let's say for example, somebody who doesn't have the money in month one, let's say for example, in a January, in July they could get a lot of income coming, for example, and then they'll be like, oh, I'm ready to do this now. Oh, Jemma Cargill, I'm ready. Oh, I can use her now. So it's like, if you disappear off the face of the earth for those 6 months, they're going to go to somebody else who is active. So that's something that people should take.
And I think they also need to understand is like, say for example, if I have a 8k month, I've earned 8k in that month. That 8k is not my money to spend.
Exactly.
Like, people asking me how much I earn, don't ask me that because what I earn and what I spend is completely different.
100%.
Like, 100%. Don't think because I earn 8k, say for instance, as an example, just plucking a figure, but don't think because I've made 8k off of one launch in 1 month that that's what I'm spending that month.
You don't, because that's
and
exactly
I learned that the
how
hard way. I was like, I want to know how much this person gets. If I used to, and because I'm talking from a place of like being that person, I was like, shit, they earned 10 grand that month off of one launch, or 20 grand, 30 grand. So I'm like, wow, that was 30 grand for that month. When I got into business, I'm like, that's not your money.
It's not, because you have to plan for everything, and also me as well. A lot of things that I do.
You've got to reinvest. You've got
taxes, I reinvest
everything else.
Honest, taxes, the main one. Look, I can't. I'll tell people right now. I deferred my tax this month. Now I need to do it by the end of March because so much stuff was coming in January, like new proposals, everything like that. And then also with COVID and everything hitting, and then what I kind of do my taxes each month because I have QuickBooks and stuff like that, but I hadn't done it how I want it to be. This last year and the year before, have to do it properly because this is now going towards me buying properties and stuff, so it has to be done properly. So instead of rushing it, I said, do you know, I'm going to defer it. Now that's another major part of business that people, they don't plan for. Everybody I work with the last 2 months to go gets that email or that contact from HMRC and they're like, oh my, what is going on? Like, what do I do? So that's also something which has to be coached to people a lot, and also something that I would say based on HMRC taxes and stuff is don't be afraid of it. And
100%, you've got to confront, like when you're in business, you've got to confront money, whether that's debt, profit, lot, I don't care what it is, you can't shut. And I did that, and now I've got like a spreadsheet that I'm like, even if I don't like the figures, I've still got to confront it, because the more you shy away from it, you're gonna get to a point where it's gonna be scary.
You. I had my friend, she's an accountant. Well, she was an accountant, but she switched careers, but she obviously still had all the accountancy knowledge. And like, she knew 2 months before tax day, every year she's gonna get a message from me. And then it would happen, and she'd done my taxes a couple of years, and then one year she was like, "What are you afraid of?" And I was like, "Do you know what it is? Their website is daunting, it's long, the messages they send are
scary."
Long. And I was just like, I just prefer if someone else does it, because I like to delegate, so that works for me. But she was like, I'm just gonna call them. And I was like, in my head, I was like, but you can't call them, they're not gonna hear you out, it's just that. She called them in front of me, no lie, like, she just saved all the 4 months of stress that I've been going through. She just did it in a split second. And after that day, I think I've never been scared since. As I said, like this year, I just called them a couple of weeks ago and said, look, this is the situation. They told me what to do. And they're like, okay, yeah, you'll get charged, but you appeal it. And obviously they never ask for the money straight away. It takes a period of time. So that definitely for people, when it comes to taxes, HMRC, Companies House, all of this, just tackle it head on, or work with somebody. It will resolve itself. It's
100%. Like, and people have to remember that's the message that they're portraying, right? That's their company message, that we're going to come down hard on you if you don't pay your taxes, right? That is, but if you call them up, it's not even, you know, it's just a bunch of people trying to help you out. Like, they want to help you out, essentially. But I think we just associate like HMRC with like debt collectors, people losing their businesses, debt, like being in red and all that craziness, which is clever from their side, because people are scared, isn't it? People think, shit, this is something I need to, but equally, they've made it so scary that people are afraid to do it and tackle it.
I do think they're going to change it, because what I see now is every time I finish dealing with them, or I finish a form online, they have a form that comes up and it asks you certain questions. And you customer service. And I think they're probably getting the idea that I get why they do need to do it, because there are a lot of people that are going to avoid it. But there just needs to be a balance for me. I just think, but I do think they're kind of going that way. So hopefully in a couple of years to go, or that to come, that will be changed as well. So it's always.
But
good
that also
learning.
comes down to. I feel like that also comes down to, like, depending on your upbringing. That also comes up, like, down to like your conditioning around money. Yes. People are scared of money. Like, that is it. That sounds silly, like me saying that, but people are scared of money and scared of making it, losing it, having more than what they are used to. Hitting zero. Like, people are scared of money. The idea of money. We don't. You have to think, in school we're not taught about money. Like, money is something. I don't like. My upbringing, it was like it was scarcity around money. Like, we didn't have a lot. So I still work on my money mindset now. Like, that's a big thing. Like, that's something I'm going to work on all this year. So it's like, that's another thing, is how you see money. You know, if you're used to like spending, if you've grown up in a family, in a world where like money just comes to you, paying that tax money ain't nothing, because you know it's coming back. But like, a lot of people, that's not the situation. A lot of people have grown up in, like, they had to be careful with money, or they might have seen someone build up so much money then lose it all. We don't, do you know what I mean? You don't know, and then you get to that point where you're in your business and then money becomes scary. Because it's down to you. You're not. You're not. You have to file your tax returns. It's not your company. You're not just automatically taxed. Like, you have to do it. So I feel like that comes down to that as well. It's like how you view money, what your relationship with money is. And I think that's a good business idea for somebody or people, and I may even attach it to mine. It's like, a lot of new entrepreneurs need that guidance there, because it definitely wasn't there for me. If I didn't know that specific girl, I wouldn't have been able to navigate through certain years. Like, they would have come down hard on me. She saved me at like
11:59, like, you know, like the deadline, otherwise I was getting big fees and stuff. And even now when I get the letters, it's still the same. The initial feeling is still the same, but I just know how to navigate around it now. But that took a few years, so it's definitely for, if there was a lot more advice and help onto that stuff, I think that would save a lot of people. And obviously there
100%, like 100%. I think just like now the world we live in, like there's payment plans for everything. There's a solution for more or less everything. Like if you get yourself in that position, just tackle it, because they're not going to just say you've got to pay X amount all in one lump sum. It's just they know that's not going to happen. They're not going to get it. They're not going to come in, you know, like take your car. There's stages before it gets to that point. Just tackle it, and there's solution for everything. Like those types of situations used to petrify me. I'd be like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my home, lose whatever. But then you get to those like situations and you're actually like, actually I can get out of it. There's you know, they want to help you. They want their money at the end of the day, and they want to help you to pay them.
It's true. Right, I have one more question, and this is like the finale. And it's, once again, it's not to be intrusive. It's more to help people understand. What are your goals for this year, and how do you plan to go about reaching them?
I think like my goals, it's not even financial goals, you know. Like my goals for this year is more balance and alignment in my business. I think last year, like obviously it was my first year of business, so you hustle, you do everything that people tell you, because you don't know, right? You've got there's no compass point, you don't know. So this year it's more about like being more in balance, being like fine-tuning the work that I'm doing. I'm really honing in on like, what is it I'm really offering people? How am I really, can I show up for people and give value? That, and the balance is about I want more freedom. I want more freedom. That's what I'm striving towards. I want more freedom. And when COVID's over, I want to be able to be like, I'm in Dubai on a beach working. Like I want that freedom, right? It's just trying to align that now, and it's trying to figure out what do I need to do to get into a position that I can get to that point of hiring people out, or, you know, like silly things like have a cleaner. Like I want a cleaner to help. So that takes an hour of my time doing the cleaning, so I can put that back into my business, or you know, like spend time with Nyla or whatever. So it's about a bit like balance and alignment this year. So what am I doing to achieve that? I'm doing mindset work. A lot of mindset work, a lot of money mindset work, and like removing any blocks. And I'm actually slowing down in terms of the information I'm absorbing. I think there's so much content, there's so much education out there. It becomes so overwhelming that you just need to stop and refer back to your like internal compass point. It would be like, I know the answers to this. Don't act like you don't know the answers to this, Jemma. Like you don't need someone to tell you. So I'm slowing down in terms of like how much workshops, courses, like personal development in terms of like qualification, skills, whatever, because I know I want to try and find that myself. I know I've got it, so it's do
you know what I'm doing, which is it makes me laugh even thinking about it, because what I've decided is I spend a lot of time on a computer and the internet. So what I've done, I've redesigned my bedroom, and I'm buying like a nice bedroom chair so I can sit in my bed and read, not in my bed. I was going to say, in your chair and read, rather than being on a computer and everything.
Oh, that's key, man.
Because what I realize is that there's so much knowledge on the internet, and it would never be beaten and stuff. But while we're always plugged in, there's always that, there's always distractions. So for example, I'll be on the internet, but I've got WhatsApp, I've got this, I've got that, and they're all popping up, other notifications, whatever, blah. I need that clear mindset. And I remember, obviously, from reading books when I was younger, that was when I was probably at my like intellectual peak. Do you know what I mean? You're reading reading aloud, you're looking, and the reason I did it is because I've got a lot of books in my room that have been there for years, and I've not finished some of the really good ones like Think and Grow Rich or Rich Dad Poor Dad. I kind of know how the book's going to play out.
Yeah.
But I still want to take myself or put myself in that space to actually get back to reading, and as you said, get back to the basics, because the basics, as you said, you just said it there, a lot of the things we already know, but we have to keep reprogramming it into ourselves so that 100%. We're confident.
We get so reliant on other people, innit? Yeah, there's so much, there's so many people who claim, and this is what I want to kind of never claim, is that I'm an expert in this, because I'm still learning every single damn day. Like, I'm not an expert in anything, but there's so many experts now that claim to be able to teach you this, show you this, how to make this amount of money. But I think as an entrepreneur, I think we've all got that creative element, right? So if you're creative type of person, you should always be nourishing your creativity, whether that's reading books, writing. You should always be like feeding it, and then what comes out like will always amaze you. If you're just absorbing other people's ideas, ways of doing things, knowledge, experience, you lose everything that's actually already in you. So that's what I found. I was like, I forgot that I already know how to do certain things. I know this. Of course I know this. Why am I asking you? So like, I've, same as you, like I order probably books nearly every day. And I have like 6 books on the go, but like 6, that's my way of pouring like creativity into myself. It's just because you'll read something and it will spark that. My God, that moment where you're like, shit, I need to speak on that. I need to do X, Y, and Z about this. Oh my God, that's another way of doing something. Or like writing. When you start writing and you're in that flow, what comes out, you're like, what? Whoa.
and as you know, I've written the reason why I've been able to, I think personally for me, to achieve all my goals is because I've had a diary or been note taking from like 2005. And I've done it every year consistently. So every year I do hit my targets, and I think the only thing that for people is because people always look at financial or for people to outwardly show their finances, they think something, but for me it's not about that. So I never have to do this and show stuff and that. It's not about that for me. It's just about me maximizing my potential, so when I get to 60, 70, 80 and I'm looking back, I can say I did it. Like I did it. Whether I was where I want to be financially or whatever the case may be, but there's that internal satisfaction of like, do you know what? I put myself out there. I tried. I didn't give up. I was consistent, and like I think that's exactly it for me. It's like internal satisfaction. Like, of course I want materialistic things, but that's not like top of the list. Like, it's the thing with materialistic things for me, they're just rewards for me doing everything that I've done. And when I look at the successful people now that treat the materialistic things like that, they're always happier. There's some people that
100%
that look to materialistic things.
I was just gonna say that if you look at people like a lot of celebrities who get instant success and haven't done like the mindset work, are not working on themselves, they have breakdowns. They turn to drugs. They they overdose. Like, this is the reality.
Macaulay Culkin, Britney Spears, these type of people that they have that breakdown. Because
Whitney Houston, like look at her. Like, do you know, like it's. Success for me is like having his mindset is a lot. It's mindset, man. I just want to feel good internally, and if I feel good, I know that I can give out and give better and give value. When I feel good, I'm gonna, of course, naturally my energy is radiant. Like, if I'm feeling shit, I'm not really there to help anybody. I can't help anyone.
It's true. Well, it's been a long conversation, and thank you
been a pleasure
for speaking to you. I'm definitely going to get this out there ASAP because I want to do more of these, and I want to definitely hear. There's like just so much you can talk on, like business. Like, there's just so many. Like, the way I was like, there's
I want to go this way, I want to go that way with it. Yeah. But obviously I know
and we got to do it again soon also, because things will change. As I said, at the end of COVID, I'd like to do this again as well, because I want to see where your mind is there. And then we just go from there. So thank you very much. And I know people will look forward to hearing this.